Hey guys, Logan here from Popular Woodworking Magazine. Welcome to my shop. So we're wrapping up the next issue of Popular Woodworking Magazine. That means all my projects are built, and I'm starting to look forward to the next couple of issues worth of projects and trying to decide what I'm going to build. And it's not very often that my wife requests something from me, but she did make a request, which is going to be an ottoman for our living room. So I'm trying to come up with a design, and I think what I'm going to do is make an ottoman that has a couple of bent lamination pieces on it. I'm not exactly sure if those are going to be lower stretchers or if those are going to be kind of a top rail, but what I started looking at is different types of bending jigs that I have and trying to figure out how I'm going to do these laminations. Now, bent lamination isn't something that is foreign to me. I do it pretty regularly, but there are some tips that really help you get the most out of a bent lamination project, and I wanted to go through those with you today. So the first thing that we need to look at is the form. I have a couple of different forms here that I've used for different projects in the past. This big one is for my dining table. This was the side rails of the dining table. And this form is from a fairly recent issue of Popwood. This is where we did a bent lamination headphone stand. Now this one is a little bit different. As you can see, this is a two-piece form because it has a really tight radius. And this one also required us to steam bend the pieces prior to doing the glue up. This style of form is what I prefer to do, where it is just one solid form and then you clamp your pieces on top. Now, having the proper form is a good starting point to getting a good bent lamination piece. But in my mind, the most important thing is to use the right adhesive and have the right laminations. Now, the adhesive that I like to use when I'm doing bent lam is going to be a two-part epoxy. And this West system is what I've used in the past, and it works really well because what it does is it creates a solid glue line that's not flexible. That means you don't have a lot of spring back when you take your piece out of the form. And that's important, especially when you start working joinery into pieces that are bent. Any little bit of spring back that you get throws off angles. Now, we do have a little bit of work to do before we get this form in glue up shape. So let me go ahead and clear off the bench. I'll show you how I prep this, and then I'll show you how we get a really good glue up using epoxy. Now, the form that I have set up is made out of several layers of MDF that are glued together. I just shot some finish nails in them to hold everything while that glue dries, and I sanded the top fairly smooth just with a rasp and sandpaper, but there are a couple of flat spots. So what we want to do is we want to ensure an even bend. And to do that, what I do is I cover the top with a layer of cork. This is, let's call it 1/4 of an inch thick. And what that does is it allows the clamping pressure to be evenly distributed, and if there's any flat spots, it really minimizes those. So to attach the cork to the form, I'm going to use contact cement. Contact cement works really well for this, but I am going to apply 2 layers and then let them dry before I stick them together. That's the idea behind contact cement, is once the surfaces are dry, they'll only stick to each other. So it works really well at bonding something like cork down to MDF. Now, as I mentioned with contact cement, the 2 surfaces do need to be dry to the touch before you stick them together. So I'm going to wait a few minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and finish out the form before we look at our laminations. All right, so that cork is held down. Now the last thing I want to do with this form before we start looking at laminations is I want to drill a couple of holes in here for clamp access. This center section, I could probably run a clamp once I have my laminations on there straight to the bottom, and that'll work really well. But when I start to get down to where this is more of an acute angle between the clamping surface and the base, I'm probably going to run into an issue with a clamp slipping. So what I do is I usually put a series of holes, and I just drill those with a 4-center bit. Something big enough to get the head of a clamp into, but I do have to keep in mind that I do have a couple of brad nails throughout this thing, so I try to avoid those. So I'm going to go ahead and get this drilled, and then we'll take a look at the laminations and see what they look like. All right, with those holes drilled, there is one other thing I'm going to do this form before we are ready to bring in our laminations, and that is to cover the entire thing with clear packing tape. And that's going to be so this West System epoxy does not stick to the form. Any squeeze out that comes out will release, and our bent lamination will not be stuck to the form permanently. Okay, good layer of non-stick packing tape. Now let's look at our laminations. Now the key, as I mentioned, is using an adhesive that's going to be rigid. That's why we're using West System epoxy. But we also want to make sure that our laminations are as thin as we can get them to ensure a good bend that's not going to spring back. Now, depending on the radius or the shape that we're trying to bend, your laminations may need to be thicker or thinner. And if you look at these ones, these are some air-dried walnut laminations. They have been sawn at the bandsaw, and then I sent them through a thickness planer. And these ones are pretty thin. These are about, let's call it a fat 1/16 or a skinny 1/8 of an inch. These are definitely not quite an 1/8 of an inch. Now for this radius of bend, an 1/8 inch would probably work. These happen to be left over from that bent lamination headphone stand from a couple of issues ago. So they're thinner than they need to be for this, but they're gonna work really well. Now, as I mentioned, I have went ahead and bandsawed these, sent them through a drum sander, so we have a good clean surface on both surfaces. There's no voids that we're gonna worry about, although on this one, I do have a little bit of saw marks still. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm gonna either leave that on a non-show surface, so that's gonna be either down, or I could maybe bury that on the inside of the lamination. But what's probably gonna happen is these saw marks, when I clean up the edges, are gonna show through on the edge. Now we are gonna mix some colored filler into this West System epoxy that's gonna help really hide any of those gaps. But in this instance, I'm probably gonna put that down because then that's gonna be on the underside of the part and you're never gonna see it. So looking at this, I wanna make sure that my laminations are gonna build up to the thickness I want. And I think here I probably want to go closer to 3/4 of an inch. So about that many laminations. And now I'm gonna go ahead, move the form off to the side, and we'll start mixing up this epoxy. Now applying epoxy to these laminations can be done a couple different ways. A foam roller works really well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread these out just like so. It gives me a flat surface. And then I'm going to use a notched spreader. Now let's talk about the epoxy for a second. For some reason, people get really bothered by mixing up epoxy and getting the ratio right. And one thing that I like about the West System epoxy is that you can buy these metering pumps. So if you buy a gallon setup like I have here with the resin and the hardener, the metering pumps are the appropriate size for each of these, so it mixes the right ratio. So one pump and one pump gives you the right ratio. So if I need to mix up more or less, I do maybe 2 or 3 pumps, 2 or 3 pumps here. And I really like that because it takes any guesswork out of it, and I'm not gonna end up with epoxy over the next couple of days that just doesn't dry because I don't have enough hardener in it. Now I mentioned before that I am gonna add a little bit of colored filler in here. The West System epoxy is a clear epoxy. So you will have a glue line show up if you have a void in your laminations. Now because I've sanded these ones, I don't think I'm gonna have that happen, but it never hurts to add a little bit of filler. And the filler comes in a couple of different color schemes and different styles. And this filler is labeled as a filleting material in case you need to do a fillet if you're doing boat work, stuff like that. But you can see that these 2 different densities have different colors. This lighter one is more of a wood tone, so that's what I'm going to use generally. The darker purple one, I think, builds up a little bit, it's a lower density filler, so it builds up a little bit less. And this guy works really well for most of our wood applications. So I'm going to add a couple of little scoops of that in and mix it in. As I'm working with it, if I feel like I need to add a little bit more, I can add a little bit more as I'm mixing. So when working with epoxy, I make sure to wear gloves to protect my skin and safety glasses because epoxy can be an eye irritant as well. And now we are going to start mixing. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and just looking at that amount of resin that's in there, I think 5 is going to be a good amount. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now that's the right amount. All I have to do is mix it up thoroughly, but I am going to add some filler before I do that. So we'll do 1 and a smaller one. And now we can go ahead and start mixing. Okay, now looking at that, not only is that kind of honey colored, let's call it mixed up honey, but it's also still a little thin. So we're going to add a hair more filler, a little more than a hair. And we'll see if we can not only get that to be a little bit more wood color, but also thicken up. And kind of like mixing up a cake, I'm scraping the edges, making sure I get that filler really mixed in so I don't have any dry spots. And there we go. That's a really, really nice consistency, and it's a good color. I think it's going to really match this walnut in case we have any of those glue lines show up. And now we can start gluing. And I mentioned that I like using something like the West System epoxy for bent laminations because it gives us a much more rigid glue joint, which is absolutely accurate. But I also like that it has a much longer open time. So whereas if I was doing this with a standard wood glue, I'm going to be rushing to get everything in the clamps before that glue starts to dry. Not the case here. With this epoxy, I have a really long open time. I can take my time. I don't have to rush. Probably not going to leave this and go have lunch while I'm spreading glue, but I don't feel like I have to rush at all with this. So we'll get that epoxy clear to the edges. Okay, the biggest thing here while spraying this epoxy is to make sure I have a thin layer, and I also do not want any dry areas. Any dry areas, when we put them in the form, are not going to bond together, and then we are going to have a gap in our lamination. Okay, so there is the first batch, and I have a few more laminations here. And we'll go ahead and spread more. Now the nice thing about those metering pumps is if for some reason I didn't mix up enough, I can simply just add a couple of more pumps into this container and mix it up, and it's the right ratio. I will have to add a little bit more filler just to get that same caramel color that this stuff is, but I think I might have hit this just right with the amount I mixed up, so we will see. Okay. All right, let's stack these up. Now, if I was being super careful and wanted to use this one for my actual magazine project, with this is just a sample to make sure that this is the bend I want for this ottoman, I would keep the grain in the right orientation. And as somebody mentioned here, that last lamination, you don't actually want any epoxy on. So that is our lamination sandwich. And we can now set this on the form And the way I clamp this is very deliberate. I like to start with putting a clamp in the very center. What that's going to do is that is going to lock that center in, and then I can go ahead and work out to the edges. Now, because we have that epoxy between all these layers, everything's a little slippery. She likes to move a little bit. And you may have noticed on my big form that I had in here originally, I had a couple of wings screwed on the side. And that helps keep these from moving. It just gives me a registration point. But because this is a test for a prototype on this ottoman, not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna worry about getting a good bend. So there we go, that one's locked in. Looks like I'm pretty well centered. So now I'm gonna use clamping cauls all the way down. And I'm gonna work from the inside out, squeezing everything down a little bit at a time. Now on these outside clamps, I like these little squeeze clamps, especially the ones that have the really wide pads, because that allows me to cover the entire lamination, doing exactly the same thing that these clamping cauls were doing. And there we go. So I have good squeeze out the entire glue line. Everything looks like it's nice and tight, but we really won't know until we come back tomorrow and clean up the edges. All right, so here we are 24 hours later, and we can go and take the clamps off this and see exactly how this is gonna hold its shape. And you can know that that West System epoxy is cured by just filling that squeeze out. If it's nice and hard, you know it's pretty well set up. So we can start popping off the clamps. And you can see, just based on how these are sitting, that there's no spring back on this thing. So now let's release it from the form. Might need a gentle persuasion. There we go. We got a layer of epoxy hanging off the edge, but we can see that there is absolutely minimal spring back on that. And that's because that West System epoxy is a nice rigid glue line. So let me go ahead and run over to the bandsaw. I'm gonna clean up these edges and we'll take a look at the laminations and see how tight they are. Okay, there we go. Now, after taking the sides of this bent lamination piece of the bandsaw and cleaning up the hand plane, I can see the glue joints are really, really tight. Really, the only way that you know that there's a bunch of laminations there is the variance in sapwood and heartwood. And because this was just a test, I didn't really care about that. But I'm very happy with this shape. And what I like about this is it's gonna be repeatable. But I found that following those simple steps of spending some time on your form, covering it with cork and packing tape, and then using a rigid adhesive like West System epoxy to glue up your laminations will yield consistent results that are gonna make for a great final project.